Since the start of time, people have constantly argued over cars. NA versus turbos, rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive, or even new versus used. On my right, we have an E36 M3, a respectable performance four-door saloon for the German businessman, or for the teenager with $5 at the buy here, pay here lot. Then, on my left, we have a modern, budget performance car that can be daily driven with ease. So we're going to do what our ancestors have always done. We're going to compare the two to see which is really better. Or so I assume that's what our ancestors did, because honestly, what else is there for cavemen to do? So why are we comparing these two cars? The truth is, 5 years ago, this comparison would not have really made sense because E36 M3s were 10 grand cheap used cars and Ford Focus STs were still new. But times have changed and these cars are a lot closer now than they used to be. Sure, you can still buy an M3 for close to 10 grand, but really a nice one of either car is around $15,000 or $20,000, which is, begs the question, which is better? So, to start off, let's go over some stats. The E36 M3 has 240 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque. Then the Ford Focus ST has 252 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. On paper, it might seem like the ST is a little better, might even have a bit of an edge, but the paper doesn't really tell the whole story of these cars. The truth is, they drive pretty differently. The ST is a lot quieter, more comfortable. The M3 is more visceral. Things like difference in cable and electric throttles, you feel more. And the E36 M3 just kind of has more of an edge, but if we kept talking about that, it'd make this video very long and boring. So let's talk about what makes the M3 exciting. The engine is definitely a big one. It only has 240 horsepower, but when you get on it and feel the torque, it feels really nice. The sound is a very raw and in-your-face sound, and the throttle is also direct. I mean, when you punch it, you know what it's going to do because your foot is directly connected to it. The steering, it does have a little bit of that 90s, like, kind of dead on center, but once it catches, I mean, it really catches. And I also can't talk about how planted the suspension is in this car. I mean, it's very predictable, it gives you great feedback, and it's just very nice to drive. Now, you could make the argument stock versus modified car isn't really a fair comparison because the M3 is modded ST stock. The thing is, these M3s are so old now, if you're buying one, the truth is a lot of them are modified, so you're going to have, if you buy one, you can kind of expect a similar experience. Yes, the stock E36 M3 is more rubbery, but the general feel is still kind of the same. However, as good as a BMW M3 for a lot less than its MSRP sounds, it is not without its fair share of problems. Your interior especially, I mean, this E36 chassis is known for their interiors falling apart, a lot of faded plastics, broken plastic. I mean, you open a glove box, you need to use two hands. Everything you put in the glove box and in your interior shelves or cup holders, whatever, it's all going to rattle. You're going to hear everything. And your repair bills are not going to be cheap either because you're driving what is in today's money a $70,000 car for $20,000. So you're going to have repairs that look like a $70,000 car, or you're going to at least have to be willing to wrench on it in the weekend because otherwise you're just going to get eaten up by shop labor. Interior amenities are also sparse. The seats definitely don't hold you in as well as modern buckets do. And a lot of the materials are generally just kind of cheaper. You can definitely feel it inside. And I mean, this car is a full option car, but I mean, things that were options were like cruise control, an onboard computer so you could see your gas mileage, no Apple CarPlay, no backup camera, no driving assist, pretty bare boned. On the flip side though, this car is more analog, you don't get as much. And it's true that not everyone wants those things. The gauges will certainly never go out of style, they're very clean and easy to read, no dummy screens in here. The driver's cockpit is also very nice. Almost feels kind of like a jet fighter. You got your dashboard all angles in towards you, your shifters right here. It feels really good. The 50-50 weight distribution also feels really good. And let me tell all of you, the 50-50 weight distribution is just phenomenal in the corners. Like any used car though, not all of them are examples that you want. I mean, this one's pretty nice with 240K on the clock, but is the one you're looking at on Facebook nice? I mean, for your sake, I hope so, but I can't say. For the longest time with this car, I wanted to say I could, like, it was a reliable daily driver. I could just put a few grand into it and drive it, but the thing is, these are all old cars now. Yes, it was nice, but no matter how nice an old car is, it's still old. Things are gonna break. It will need things, which is definitely something to keep in mind. So now that we've talked about my car, let's hop in my buddy Jason's Ford Focus ST and see what he has to say. We'll compare the two.
This is my 2017 Ford Focus ST. This is Ford's example of a car that's small, reliable, and fun for a performance car. While being able to boast numbers that are similar to the E36 M3s, the ST is able to maintain a feeling of a new car. Now, the ST was offered in 3 different packages, the ST1, ST2, and ST3. The differences between these packages are pretty minimal. There's no performance differences. Everything is outside cosmetic and inside interior differences. The ST1 is the least optioned of the 3. It has cheaper Recaro seats, as well as a cheaper radio with no touchscreen, but is still equipped with a backup camera. The ST2 and ST3 both comes with big bolstery Recaros, where the ST3 does have full leather Recaros and the ST2 only has Recaros with cloth inserts. But both of them also share their same 8-inch touchscreen that is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capable. This car specifically is an ST2, and I have to say I'm rather pleased with the interior. Although with the more expensive ST3 you do get premium wheels, as well as painted brake calipers, which this car does not have. Now, with the ST being a newer car, there's arguably a disconnected feel while driving the car. Without a cable throttle, the gas pedal almost feels like a toy, right along with the very, very light steering. This car is extremely responsive though. It does exactly what you want it to do when you want it to do it. Now, the clutch is another great thing about this car. It's extremely easy to operate. There's no sore legs while you're sitting in day-to-day traffic. The shifter is also extremely nice. The throws on the shifter aren't too long, but they also aren't too short. There is a short throw shifter option available for this car from Ford Performance and a couple other companies, but personally, I don't think it needs it. Older turbocharged cars have a tendency to suffer from significant turbo lag. Now, most manufacturers have been able to work this out, and Ford is one of those. So, stock, the Focus ST makes between 19 and 21 pounds of boost. All of it gets put down to the front wheels from a dig, and it can get a little squirrely. Some people complain in first and second gear that this car has a lot of torque steer. Personally, I don't think it's that bad. Once you get past first and second gear, you have a lot of top-end power, but lack in mid-range power. If you were to punch it in third or fourth gear, from a speed, it would take a second to wind up the turbo and actually get going. Now, I said earlier this car makes between 19 and 21 pounds of boost. This is an example of Ford's overboost system. While in the lower rev range, the car will only make 19 pounds of boost, but when it gets up higher into the mid-range and into the high range of revs, it'll click up another notch on your boost gauge and start to make 21 pounds of boost. Car is going to get you a lot of different creature comforts, a touchscreen, a new sound system, and most importantly, a quiet car. No old seals that need to be replaced. Now, with a newer car, you're going to get a 6-speed transmission, which the ST is equipped with, and is very, very nice on the highway. It is extremely quiet, and today while we were filming, the ST was much easier to film in than the M3 was. Those 6 gears also get you some great fuel economy. On my daily drive to work or to school, depending on my driving, I average about 20 to 23 miles per gallon. On a highway at around 73 miles an hour, this car, you can look for upwards of 30 miles to the gallon. If you want to bump up the speed a little bit, say 80 miles an hour, you're going to be averaging around 28 miles to the gallon. Now, if you are on some back roads, some state roads, at about 55, 60 miles an hour, you're looking at upwards of 35 miles to the gallon. Another really great thing about the new technology in the ST is you don't have to fill up with premium. This car has the option of premium or mid-grade fuel. Now, with mid-grade, you're going to be losing about 8 horsepower, but if you're not taking it to the track, for day-to-day driving, it makes it very nice and makes fill-ups very cheap. So, I've owned this car for pretty close to a year now, and day-to-day, it's pretty nice. It's a good daily driver, and sometimes you honestly forget that you're driving a performance car. I have a few gripes with this car. The console is too small, glove box is too small, the trunk is arguably too small, but it's a small car, so what do you expect? So, if you're going to buy this car as a daily driver, I would highly recommend it.
So as you can see, these cars are very similar in price and performance, but the truth is they're completely different cars. The M3 might make a better weekend toy or track weapon, the ST better daily. The M3 driving experience can be best described as more of an event. You get excited to go wherever you're going to go because, yes, I get to drive the M3. But there's a cost, and the cost is overall ease of ownership. On the other hand, if you just want a daily, maybe you should try the Focus ST instead. Say the performance is similar and it's a lot more practical than an M3. Your trunk won't get stuck open in the winter. You don't have to use, 2 hands to open your own glove box. And you don't really have to worry about every new sound you hear. You kind of just, start the car and drive it. So you can buy either of these cars, and they're both really fun. They're worth every penny. Just, if you're gonna get an M3, you should get a PPI first. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you want to see more of what's been done to this M3, click here. If you want to see some POV driving videos, click here. Don't forget that at 500 subscribers, when the weather's nice, friends and I are going to be going down to Hell, Michigan, and we're going to do some driving for you guys there. So make sure to stay tuned for that. As far as this video goes, comment down what you think, make sure to like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.